All right, we're going to go over the extra practice on your retake packet. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at when this function is less than or equal to 0. In order to do that, you need to actually figure out what this graph looks like. So you can either graph on your calculator and record what it looks like, or you can use quadratic formula, or you can factor. So I'm going to sketch this graph. In order to do that, I need to know the x-intercepts. So if I were to factor, I'm looking at what multiplies to give me -3 and adds to give me 2. So I came up with +3 and -1. And I can write it like this if you remember how to factor. And then I can set each factor equal to 0. So I get x plus 3 is equal to 0. Take away 3 from both sides. And x is equal to -3. I can also set the second factor, x minus 1, equal to 0, add 1 to both sides, and I know that x is equal to 1. So whether I'm using a calculator or I'm factoring by hand, you still know those intercepts are at -3 and +1. So over here, you should be able to graph. So looking at my graph, there's my -3, and there's my +1, and that's when my function is equal to 0. So it's exactly at 0. It's on the x-axis, it's at 0. So this question asks when your function was less than 0, or less than or equal to. So our graph is below all the way down here. So if you plug in a couple numbers, like if you plug in 1, your answer is going to be in the negatives. If you plug in 0, your function will be in the negatives. That's less than 1. So any numbers between -3 and +1 will give your function a value that's less than 1. So you're looking for numbers that are between -3 and +1. So on a number line, here's -3 and here's +1. We're looking for all the numbers between that. And notice we did a filled in circle because it was less than or equal to. And then as an inequality notation, we would say x is less than or equal to 1. And we could say x is greater than or equal to -3. And then if you want to write those together, it would look like this. Hope this helps. Yay!